Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Down, face down. You know the routine.
Hello, my name is Satie Gossett, and welcome to another episode of Pan and Zoom, where creatives talk about creating. Today, our special guest is the wonderful Lydia Cornell, director, actor, writer, and advocate for all things wonderful. Hi, Lydia.
Thank you. How's Satie? So good to see you.
Yes, we've been kind of circling for a while. I'm glad that we were able to get this on the books and
Me too.
kind of talk shop. So what we do here at Pan and Zoom is we talk to creatives about their craft, how they got started, what inspired them, big breaks, and any wisdom that you can imbue to the people out there watching. So
Okay.
I guess the obvious first question is, how did you get your start?
Okay, my first audition ever was for Too Close for Comfort. It was actually my third, but I'd been in town for only 3 weeks. And it was raining, and I'd gone to a party, and I met these managers, and they said, can you come in and read for some auditions and stuff? There's pilots going on, pilot season. And I, sure, So I took a bus to get to Metro Media Studios. I was 30 minutes late. I walk in, the secretary goes, I'm sorry, it's too late. We've seen 400 girls, it's over.
Oh, wow.
And I start to cry. I was bedraggled, and it had been, just a long day of just taking different buses to get there. And suddenly, Arnie Sultan comes out of the room where they were auditioning girls, and he goes, oh, let her come in. She looks the part. Let her read. So I go in, and there's a part, and I'm reading with Arnie Sultan, Bob Stolfi, Marcy Carsey from Carsey Warner is in the room, and the casting director. So I read the script, and there's a line that says, Sarah gives Dad a raspberry. So the line goes like this. In case you haven't noticed, we're two very sophisticated young women. And it says, Sarah gives Dad a raspberry. So I pick up an imaginary raspberry, and I go, so there. And I thrust it at Arnie Sultan. By the way, Arnie Sultan created Get Smart with Mel Brooks. And he goes, what the hell are you handing me here? I went, it's a raspberry. I'm giving you a raspberry. And he exploded into laughter. The whole room started roaring with laughter. I turned beet red. And I thought, I just lost the part. I'm too nervous. And they go, oh my God, what planet are you from? And I said, I think I said Texas. And they go, you don't know what a raspberry is? It's a Bronx cheer in showbiz lingo. Do one. It's like...
Wait, is it?
It's a really ugly, obnoxious, gluttural sound with your mouth, with your cheeks blown together. Mm. And they go, what time can you be at the network tomorrow morning? So out of a big mistake, I was one of 400 girls they saw for the network the next day. They only saw 5 of us. And I had to meet Tony Thomopoulos, the president of ABC Network. Marcy Carsey was there. A whole bunch of execs on the sofas at the exec offices above the Schubert Theater in Century City. And I wore a virginal white dress, and all the other girls were wearing their boobs hanging out, cleavage, short shorts, and I was coming in like a virgin. They wanted a virginal sex symbol. That was the role. So
that was what said on the copy?
A virginal, yeah,
Oh, wow.
A naive, innocent sex symbol. And first of all, I was so green and naive, I didn't know what I was doing. But I lost the 2 pilots before this audition, which was good luck. Because once you sign a contract to do an audition for a pilot, you sign 7 years of your life away, and you're not allowed to audition for another one till the other one's not picked up. So it was really the luck of the draw. But here's the wonderful thing that happened. I'm reading with Ted Knight right there in front of the execs. I read with Deborah von Valkenburg, playing my sister. And after I finished reading, the 2 producers go, this was so good. They were laughing. And they go, we're going to tell you right now, you have the part. We don't usually do this. We usually call your manager first. And then Deborah says to me, what's your name? I said, Lydia Korniloff. It's a weird Russian name. I've got to find a shorter name. She goes, Korniloff. I worked for a Gregory Korniloff in New York City, who worked for Interpool, a shipping company. They moved him to Holland, but I worked for him for 3 or 4 years. And I said, that was my father.
Wow.
So synchronicity.
Small world.
Deborah von Valkenburg worked for my father in a city of 10 million people, and she's my my true soulmate sister today. We're still like sisters.
So that obviously lent to the synergy you guys had throughout the show, which
Yeah.
is so crazy. And
Sweet.
it's all these circumstances and kind of happy accidents that you may or may not have known of. But my question is, did the other 5 girls, did they know what a raspberry was? And did they blow the part by actually knowing? But
Maybe.
by you not knowing, that endeared you to them,
Exactly.
which is amazing. Because a lot of entertainment, when we create a lot of these happy accidents, end up being the best thing that ever happened,
Exactly.
whether it's acting or script or during production. But how much training did you have before that? Did you study acting before that?
Yes. Well, I was in every play in high school. And I
Okay.
was born in El Paso, Texas, and I spoke Spanish fluently.
Okay.
Viví en El Paso, Texas, junto a Juárez por 13 años. I have to show off a little Spanish every time I talk to anybody.
No, it's okay. It's for better for demographics. Here at Pan and Zoom, we are international.
Oh, yeah. But, and then I joined the YMCA acting club or something when I was 10 years old. And I took a couple classes. And I had this dream of coming to Hollywood after watching a Disney movie, Haley Mills.
Okay. Was
I'm
it
dating myself, but The Parent Trap and
Freaky Friday?
Moonspinners.
Was it Freaky Friday too?
Freaky Friday was Lindsay Lohan.
No, but
Did she do one too? Oh, I'm bad. I'm not up on my...
no, it's okay. I
Trivia.
think she did one, and then Jodie Foster did one, and then Lindsay Lohan did
Oh,
one.
God, I love Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan and
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis. But no, I was obsessed with the Moonspinners with Eli Wallach and Haley Mills. It was like a mystery on the island of Crete. So I was obsessed and enamored of show business early on.
So that was kind of like, you saw this, oh, I want to do this.
Yeah, and plus we went to Disneyland when I was 5. I got lost in Sleeping Beauty's castle. The police had to find me. I don't know if a predator... I don't know
Did you
what
get out of the tram? What did you do?
I don't know. They couldn't find me after. It's a very weird story. One day I'll figure that out. But the obsession of the land of make-believe. My father was a violinist in the El Paso Symphony. He was born in Russia, raised in Shanghai, came to America, met my mother serendipitously at the Hollywood Bowl. She dragged him back to Texas, and he became the concertmaster of the El Paso Symphony, and he was in an opera production of Pinocchio, and he let me run around backstage, and I was, oh my God, I was blown away by the gauze whale and Geppetto's workshop, and just going in and out of the stage design. I wanted to be a scenery designer. So I was obsessed with theater from an early age, just running off and being someone else, you know. So in high school, I ended up being kind of a nerd. We moved to Scarsdale, New York. I wanted to be Jewish in the worst way. Scarsdale's all Jewish, and there was a Jewish, cliquish club, and I was like the only shiksa.
Mazel.
Yeah. Oh, mazel tov. Shabbat shalom. So I ended up being kind of a nerd outcast. I wasn't allowed to date at all. I was very shy and withdrawn, but I had one best friend in high school, Monroe Mendelsohn, this gay guy.
And Monroe is one of the main characters in Too Close for Comfort.
That's right.
Is there any...
Yeah, the producers took me to lunch one day at the Brown Derby, and they said, do you have any crazy friends? They're writing a character for my best friend. I said, yeah, Monroe and I. We played the kazoo in St. Patrick's Cathedral, wore paisley bell-bottoms all over New York, fake Russian accents. We were just nerdy drama kids.
Does he know he was the inspiration?
He didn't know. I tried to call him several times. He was probably embarrassed by the character of Monroe because Jim Bullock played such a buffoon. But and Ted Knight was always on Jim's case.
Yes.
I love Jimmy. He's one of my best friends. But Monroe died before I could tell him.
Oh.
I tried.
No, I hear you.
The real Monroe died. But we were in Othello together. I thought I would play Desdemona. Instead, I played a torchbearer with long sideburns standing behind the beautiful Desdemona. Monroe and I were always backstory for a while. Then we were in Enemy of the People. I was Petra, he was Aslaksen.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool being in so many plays together with your best friend.
Now that makes it twice as good because you're on that journey with the people you love and care about.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of inspires you to put yourself in those same situations as you kind of go through the ranks. So after Too Close for Comfort, I know you did a lot of other shows. You want to talk about those and just talk about...
Well, on hiatus, every single hiatus, which we would do 22 shows in front of a live audience. Oh my God, being on the set was crazy and fun. You know, on Monday was the read through at the table read.
Mm-hmm.
We would tell dirty jokes. Ted Knight was the funniest guy to work with.
Well, he did Caddyshack, of course.
Oh,
he
he just came off Caddyshack we were picked up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the Caddyshack. He would go, "While we're young," and Rodney Dangerfield said, "While we're young," or the other way around. He would imitate Rodney Dangerfield because the cameras were taking so long, and he would go, "While we're young."
Yeah.
You got it.
No, I get it.
It's silly, but anyway, he taught me everything. He taught me how to do a spit take, which is like, you know, really silly things.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. I learned comedy from him. I really did.
Just like the timing and and how to react. So it was kind of like it was on the job training for you.
It was totally on the job training.
It was like it was him and Jim J. Bullock and Nancy Dussault. You know, it's like you're not working.
I know. So Monday we'd have table read. John Ritter would poke his head in from next door, whoever was on the lot at the time. Solid Gold was across the street on our same lot. We were on Norman Lear's soundstage where All in the Family was done. And then 22 episodes a season. We kept getting picked up. We were in the top 10. Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company, Too Close for Comfort, and then Heart to Heart. It was a really hot night for ABC TV. And then every hiatus I do a Love Boat, Hotel, Fantasy Island, TJ Hooker, Hunter, A-Team, Knight Rider, Simon & Simon. I did every one of those crazy, wild Stephen J. Cannell shows too, where I was driving race cars. So I was in 2 Hour Dukes of Hazzard, Black Scorpion, you know, all these crazy shows.
Were you in Cannonball Run too?
No.
No.
The movie?
Uh-huh.
I wish. No.
Oh, really? I felt like you were, but
May have been Farrah Fawcett.
no, it wasn't.
We have similar wings.
Oh, well, I don't want to do that.
80s hair alert.
Compare people to other people.
I'm kidding.
But the hair was a thing
Yeah.
in the day, and I
You
know.
could land an airplane on my hair. It was like an aircraft carrier with the wings. It was so big.
But I guess the iconography of that look, the Farrah Fawcett, you know, blonde, you know, whether it's Beach Bunny,
Yeah.
you know, how did that affect you as a person? Because they kind of, I hate to say pigeonhole a little bit, and you know they don't explore your repertoire of what you can actually do.
Good terminology. Thank you.
Yeah.
They made me into a sex symbol immediately, and I had to do bikini posters for ABC Network. I actually have these full-blown framed posters of me in a sequin bathing suit and on all fours. It was over-sexualized. They did this to women in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl Tiegs had a poster, Cheryl Ladd, Farrah Fawcett. I had a best-selling poster. And I just thought it was par for the course that you were required to be a sex symbol if you were a woman. Some of us were, and then you're not allowed to age. So at 35 years old, when I was trying to get work after I did Curb, before I did Curb or any of those shows, I walked into Reuben Cannon's office, casting director.
I know Reuben.
I love Reuben.
Yeah.
And he said, "Wow, you look pretty good for an old lady."
Oh boy.
35 years old. Thank you. So that's the industry we were in, and I have a lot of Me Too stories, but I don't really want to hurt anybody's career at this point. You know?
I mean, I'm sure, you know, now there's kind of Me Too stuff at the forefront now, and
Yeah.
and it seems to be the culture that we live in, no matter what generation you're in. But if we kind of go back to the craft, and you know the limitations that they put on you, they just want you on a poster. Did that compel you to like start writing
Yes.
or directing?
Yes.
Can you talk about that? Because you know I was reading your bio, and you got some pretty cool writing stuff, like with the Harriet
thank you.
Beecher Stowe connection.
My great-grandmother, yeah.
Did I tell you that I went to Phillips Andover in Massachusetts,
Oh,
and I stayed in the dorm where she wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin.
no.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
That is so amazing.
So it's like we're related.
We're related. Yes, my
Surprise.
great my grandfather was named Henry Ward Beecher Stowe,
Hmm.
and I knew him. He died at 97. His grandmother was Harriet Beecher Stowe. So his great-grandmother. So imagine this, when women couldn't vote, she wrote this book to convince her husband and the men to vote, to consider blacks as human beings. I mean, what a beautiful heart, you know?
Well, I mean, and the fact that it still stands the test of time, and unfortunately, in some cases, it's still very relevant.
Oh gosh.
But if you ever have you ever been up to where
When I
Stillhouse
was
is?
younger, yeah. When we first came to New York, I went up to visit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I forgot to mention that I did a movie immediately after I got Too Close for Comfort.
Mm-hmm.
I got a feature film. We did the pilot for Too Close. It wasn't picked up yet. And I went to visit a British producer in the Chateau Marmont.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a legitimate producer. And he said, you'd be perfect for this movie called Demon Island or Blood Tide with James Earl Jones, Jose Ferrer, and Lila Kadrova, 3 Oscar icons. Lila Kadrova won for Zorba the Greek. James Earl Jones was just coming off The Great White Hope. Mm-hmm. He wasn't Darth Vader yet. And Jose Ferrer, Cyrano de Bergerac. So Martin Cove, Deborah Shelton, and we all flew to the Greek Isles, spent 9 weeks there.
Wow.
Playing smuggling buddies with James Earl Jones. It was an amazing experience.
Now, with that experience, it's total kind of like a 180 from what you've been doing with the comedy.
Oh, yeah.
What did you learn from working with these kind of heavyweight guys as far as the craft?
It was so, right before you're shooting a scene, like you just said, you get a fugue state. Mm-hmm. It's like right before you're shooting, and you've got to bring it. Mm. I don't know what happened. Some force took over me, and I was really I was good. I couldn't believe that came out. First take, I was great, and they went, wow. Even James Earl Jones, because he was my actual partner in the scenes. We were smugglers. Mm-hmm. And I had to do some witty things with an orange and be a little bit ditzy, because I played a dumb blonde on Too Close for Comfort. They were looking for a kind of innocent beach girl.
Right.
Who was kind of manipulating the other people to get their gold and jewelry.
Well, I mean, the only thing better than playing a ditzy girl is playing a ditzy girl to cover that you're really smart.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
Which is fun, and it just shows another kind of tool in the toolbox that you can bring out as a performer.
You can't really be dumb and play a dumb blonde, I don't think.
No, you can't.
No. I mean, I had a business degree. I went to University of Colorado in Boulder, and I worked my way through college waitressing and earning residency. And I secretly I was no good in math. I don't know why I got a business degree. My mother and father said, you can't earn a living unless you go to Wall Street. And I went, no, I'm an actor.
Well, that's one way to make a living. It's not the only way.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, so cut to, the coolest thing in college, though. I was always trying to sideways into showbiz. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what's out here in Boulder? Oh, a famous recording studio, Caribou Ranch at the top of Netherland Mountain. And I met Billy Joel recording his first album there. I picked him up at the airport.
Oh, wow.
My job was to pick up the rock stars at the airport. So I got to pick up Billy Joel during a snowstorm, and I crashed him into a snowbank.
Oh.
The whole band. And I got fired, and he got my job back for me. And then Joni Mitchell, I got to pick her up at the airport. Beach Boys, America, Chicago, and a bunch of other bands. So that was a fun way to...
No, I mean, it's fun because, and it's also another way. Were you sitting in on the recording sessions watching these guys?
Yes, because I'm one of those kids that wanted to be an inventor and engineer. I was always trying to learn something on the job.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but again, you're going from comedy to working with the drama guys, and now you're with all these musical legends and watching their process. Mm. What did you...
That was before all the showbiz things started.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really believe that when you set your intention toward a goal, and you're driven, I was driven to somehow get out there and do some creative work. I didn't know what would happen. But business degree was really just to get through college. But my goal was to get to Hollywood. And then my father died in Holland.
Oh, no. Okay.
His company moved him from New York to Holland. And it was so tragic and strange. And my brother and sister were in the American School of The Hague in high school. And I was in college, and I went back. And while I was waiting in the hospital, I would watch American TV shows with subtitles, and I would write down the names of all the producers. Mm. And I hand wrote letters.
That's what the business degree was for. See, you think it didn't work, but it worked. It was like the Karate Kid. Yeah.
That's it.
So you knew exactly who to talk to.
I have a handwritten letter I wrote to Jack Nicholson saying, I would love to work with you someday. He was like, what?
Did you?
No, I spent a really wild night in his house, though, when he was climbing the walls.
No, that doesn't count. Okay. Maybe it doesn't
With Marlon Brando, it's a funny story. It's not dirty, it's funny, but anyway.
Okay. That's awesome.
But I think you need to set your goals, and if you really are focused and you believe in yourself, I don't know if I did, But I just went through where my gut took me. I felt I had a kind of a beautiful guiding force inside.
Well, there's something to be said about ignorance is bliss and being an idealist and saying, hey, I'm going to make this work. I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but I'm going to make it work.
Well, you're right. Oh my gosh, you're right.
You know?
Ignorance is bliss. And just going for your dreams without those limits we put on ourselves. Once we get fear, then we stop ourselves.
It's very true. And, you know, so many things can trip you up on your journey, even when you do have a modicum of success. You know, my dad, you know, God bless him, he passed away in March.
I love your dad.
But he struggled with, you know, a lot of bumps and bruises. You know, he dealt with addiction, dealt with racism.
Gosh, he did,
all of that stuff. And, you know, that affected his work.
When you say addiction, what do you mean?
He dealt with drug addiction.
Was he sober?
Yeah, he would have been sober 20 years in July.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just turned 30.
Oh, okay.
30 years, yeah.
That's amazing.
It's kind of a miracle. I mean,
one day at a time, as they say.
One day at a time.
But that journey he went through affected his work and the stuff that he made. Can you say the same for yourself?
Oh, yes.
As far as if you're in the program, how did that affect the type of roles you picked, the type of projects you worked on?
Well, I became an actual human being. I was impersonating a human before when I was an actor. They always say that. A lot of us had trauma-based childhoods that became addicts, I think, or alcoholics. I'm not sure it's genetic as much as some trauma in childhood. And I definitely had that, and I don't want to go into that here. But I was always seeking some way to relieve the pain. And I think alcohol is just a way to numb yourself, to sort of blitz your way through life. And then I realized when I stopped drinking through an absolute spine-tingling coincidence that was almost uncanny. I call it a God shot, small g, not religious, but I had an unbelievable coincidence that happened when I first really made a decision to quit. I went to my first 12-step meeting, but everything changed. It was like the blinders were off. I was no longer numb. I could feel everything. And even feeling pain felt worth it. Then I started writing. I could not stop writing. I wrote essays, poems, 3 books, a book on Stalin, a book on the Trotsky assassination. I became obsessed with characters and then comedy. And out of me came a movie script that now just got this big, it was a huge finalist out of 4,000 scripts in the top 10 of the only comedy chosen.
Oh, wow.
In a $3 million film studio, empowering women script competition. That was kind of cool. So it's a movie I want to see made, but it's about women and the plot to keep us.
Cathartic? Very
cathartic and fun. The log line is all human suffering is caused by Victoria's Secret. But it starts in the 90s and it's about a true government conspiracy to keep us thin and insecure, to keep women thin and insecure, like,
wow.
Not a silly little conspiracy, a diabolical pharmaceutical thriller, but comedy. Because every tragedy turned into comedy. After I got sober, I was able to laugh at myself. I was a real pompous idiot at times. I mean, Tom Hanks and I went on this ABC tour for our network tour to promote our series.
Was he in Bosom Buddies at the time?
Buddies,
okay, yeah.
He played this adorable drag queen in Bosom Buddies with Peter Scolari and Donna Dixon.
I was so angry at Tom when he started doing drama.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love Bosom Buddies, I love Volunteers, I love Bachelor Party.
Yes.
The Man in One Red Shoe. And what is this drama? He can't do drama. He's Tom Hanks.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
Splash. He was so good in comedy, and then you're right. Most people want to do drama once they've done comedy.
Yeah.
I think comedy's actually harder.
It is, but they're both grounded in the same thing. It's just how you react to it.
You're right. And we went on an ABC tour, and I was like, I remember me in a mink coat eating bonbons, hungover, going, we're not going first class. I mean, I was a real prima donna back when ABC was sending us around the world.
I don't know, that was a valid concern.
We went to Monte Carlo. I hung out with Roger Moore, Sean Connery, Prince Albert.
Oh, wow.
Pat Riley, coach of the Lakers. Merv Griffin, all the strangest celebrities would go
That's
in
a
this.
strange collection of
It was really
folks.
weird. And Ivana Trump,
Oh, okay.
while she was going through a divorce. We're all like closing down this nightclub, and it's just these wild 80s decadent years. They were pretty fun. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, like statute of limitations notwithstanding.
yeah, right. Thank you, yeah.
A lot of fun. You got some Nobel laureate recognition for the. Can you talk about that a little bit? We have a couple minutes left. I just wanted to hear
The
about that.
Museum of Peace
Yes.
asked me to contribute my writings. It was really cool. I got this big invitation. The International Museum of Peace. And they've written me another letter recently to send another book. I wrote a lot of spiritual articles on peace and how to solve crises. And mainly in my own life, starting from there and then going outward, which is why I think we need to all take care of our own little circle first. You can't change the world. You can change yourself, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what do they say? You got to put on the mask before you help someone else.
But it was impressive. It's an international museum, and it's a UNESCO heritage site right now. And actually, they would probably be interested in your writings or anything they're looking for people to help promote the museum itself.
You never know. Being pitched on Pan and Zoom
Yeah,
for
why
an
not?
international museum. Who knows?
Yeah. But, fame is a drug, and I found it to be an incredibly hollow experience to chase fame.
Right.
That it gets you nowhere. It's to find your inner soul and your purpose in life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you do acquire fame, it's just another tool to get you to where you need to be. Ideally, as an artist, it should always be about the work.
Yeah,
It should begin and end with the work. Not what the work gets you, but just
exactly.
whatever the work puts you through, whatever you need to exercise, whether it's demons or angels.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful thing you said.
Yeah, I just made it up.
Write that down.
Here on Pan and
Museum
Zoom.
of Peace.
I come up with all kinds of things, and I forget it. And
It's
but
on
Bobby
tape.
records it.
God, what a beautiful, yeah.
We have about a minute left. Is there
Oh.
any, like I said in the beginning, any inspiration you want to say to anyone out there who wants to make it? They're watching this and they have 30.
Keep writing.
Keep writing?
I believe that when you write something, it actually creates a structure in the universe. It actually creates, it's like if you build it, they will come. Stop worrying about the results and worrying about when you were going to sell it. I did that for too long. Worrying about, they're going to buy my project, and I wouldn't even send something in. I was so afraid of rejection. Do it. Build something. Do a one-woman show, one-man show. Write your comedy. Get up and do an open mic. Write a book. Contribute. Do volunteer work. Help others.
Yes.
It's by self-forgetting that we find. And wear the world as a loose garment, which means don't get attached to shame or blame, or don't get your feelings hurt too easily, because I did that for a long time, and I learned the hard way that the easier, softer way is to let things go.
Like,
And
oh
be
my
happy
God.
right now in the present moment.
All right. Thank you so much. This has been an awesome conversation.
Thank you. I loved it.
This has been a wonderful episode of Pan and Zoom. Come back next time. And until then, keep on filming.